Hi Anti-Society, welcome back to the Anti-Social Planet, and today we are checking out the cover by Jiu and Yihyun of Angel to Me. I found out that this was one of those festive songs, I think after I did my Twice reaction. Someone commented that there was also this song with Dreamcatcher members. Look, I haven't done Yihyun's video yet, her whole introduction and her solo and stuff, so I feel like I'm jumping a little bit ahead, but I have to, okay? I can't just like know that this is a thing that exists and like wait a whole year. I don't have that kind of self-control, so we're just gonna listen to it. Also, I've never heard this song before. I know it's a cover, but I've never heard it. So we are going to check out a lyric video first because I kind of want to get an idea of what the story of the song is at least, because a lot of the time that helps me understand like vocal decisions of why people sing stuff the way that they do, and also so I can like pay attention to the vocals and stuff. I'm gonna try and rein myself in a little bit with like production decisions and like how things are arranged, because I feel like a lot of that is dictated by the original artist and not so much by the people working on the cover, though I will probably get distracted anyway. But we're gonna check out the lyrics and all of the vocals and production and stuff first, and then of course check out the special clip afterwards. So let's get into listening to the song first. Let's check out the song. I'm sure it'll be great. I'm expecting cuteness. That's what I'm hoping for. Ooh, it's a little jazzy though. I like that.
Lady, I love you, and I just wanna show you, from the way you touch me and kiss me to the sparkle in your eye.
No. Okay. I know I was like, I'm not gonna get caught up in the production, but the fact that it's jazz, totally up my street. Love jazz music, especially, I don't know, like I feel like during the holiday season I'm allowed to love jazz music the way that I do, whereas like other times of the year people don't quite understand, especially since I like older music in general. So love it, love that it's very like drum heavy. If you've been here a minute, you know how I feel about drums. Big fan. And just like really light vocals from Yihyun, which I know that she can have that more compressed sound going in, but I really like that she's just kind of letting her vocals sit really like easily. Like she isn't pushing, she isn't doing a lot of things with augmenting the sounds or adding in different textures. She's just sitting in a very comfortable spot and letting her voice sit there. It's good.
Oh, how I love you. I just miss lost without you. With my love and intuition, you never have to say goodbye.
Beautiful little switch up into that head voice with it.
I just miss lost without you. With my love and intuition,
And there's almost a little bit of a cry there. Like the way that she did it, I think, and obviously this is speculation because I can't actually like see how her voice is functioning. I've talked a little bit before about how you basically have like two vocal cords, two sets of them. You have like your actual vocal cords and then your false vocal cords that are on top. And they're just like these sets of muscles on either side right above your voice box. And she kind of tightened those and released them right in the middle of love. So the O vowel is very open and there's lots of room to resonate. So the fact that she like tightened up on the L sound and then loosened up on that O sound is what's creating that little cry in that sound.
I just miss lost without you. With my love and intuition,
And it's covering up that break a little bit as she shifts between chest and a lighter sound.
맘이 급했어. 네가 너무 예뻐서. 너의 이름도 몰랐어. 중요하지 않아서. 느낌이 좀
Nice bass.
이상했어. 눈이 마주칠 땐 정말 내 것 같았어.
Okay, that little vocal run at the end though. Look, I've listened to Jiu's solo Cherry so much now that I can pick out her voice so easily when I'm listening to like their group songs. I'm just like, I'm so tuned into it now that I feel like I notice little things in her voice now, and it's so smooth, it's so light. She has this wonderful forward placement in it though, and it's not like pingy. Like it doesn't have that like nasality that you get with voices that are really pushed forward, but she just, I don't know, she places it just nicely where there's this loose sound to let all that breathiness come through, but she places the sound forward enough that it just kind of it pushes through really well. It doesn't like melt into like the production.
습했어 네가 너무 예뻐서 너의 이름도 몰랐어 중요하지 않아서
I want to hear this vocal run again.
이상했어 눈이 마주칠 땐 정말 내 것 같았어
Oh, she like dug into her voice a little bit there.
그 여린 숨소리 이 느낌은 뭐지 가슴이
Beautiful harmonies happening.
can't explain
Nope, I'm sorry. Okay, I was focusing on the harmonies and how nicely they're blending together. Both of them kind of staying in that like breathy place, which I think, again, for a song like this that's more slower, jazzier. Honestly, with a jazz vocal, you would have like more closure traditionally, but I think it fits with what they're kind of going for with this really relaxed, sweet song. You know, it's about this like almost like a meet cute. You know, when you meet someone in cinema, a meet cute is like when you have the two characters meet each other, and that's how like the romance story happens. So that's kind of the situation that the song seems to be about. So keeping that very like light, bright placement and just like not really digging into any of it, but then you can like really like dug into kind of the darker, more fuller tones of her voice at the end there with Can't Explain, and just like a great way to emphasize that phrase after all of this stuff, and then to switch her vocal a bit so that you really hit that phrase specifically.
여린 숨소리 이 느낌은 뭐지 가슴이 Oh I really can't explain
Beautiful vibrato.
너도 날 사랑할까 나는 준비가 다 됐어 Baby give me just one chance
Nope, shivers through my whole body. You can't go into a light voice like that with a little bit of a vocal run. Yoon's voice. Like, it's one of those ones that stuck out to me on day one of getting into Dreamcatcher, and just I haven't gotten to her solo yet, but this is like reminding me of how much I want to get to her solo and get to focus on her voice. But do that beautiful note again.
너도 날 사랑할까 나는 준비가 다 됐어 Baby give me just one chance Lady I love you
Beautiful.
And I just wanna show you From the way you touch me and kiss me To the sparkle in your eyes Oh how I love you I just feel so lost without you With my love and intuition You never have to say goodbye Yeah Got me singing that I need you desperately There's no reason that you gotta question me It's a fact that I want you in my life No matter what you are angel to me
Oof, okay. Love that like cut back on the production. I know I'm not going to talk about the production, but I said I wasn't. I'm getting distracted. I'm trying to not get distracted by the bass in this because it's great. But that cut out with the production to let that little step up part of the vocal to kind of show off that, but also the way that Yehyun is like switching from this breathier tone to this like darker where she's getting that more closure in it. Like she's just shifting back into her like chest voice, and it sounds so rich. And it's a wonder. I think the reason I'm noticing it is because she's switching between doing the breathier voice and that richer tone. But I think also because Yehyun is staying in that lighter placement and she's getting more closure in certain points where she wants to get a little more oomph to it than that breathier voice. And I think that's just where her voice sits better, is in that brighter, breathier, softer tone. So then having someone like Yehyun who can get a bit of a darker sound to her voice, putting in those little moments to accent parts is a great way of playing off of the strengths of their voices, because you're going to have something that sounds very smooth and, you know, is going to sit in that brighter placement, and then that contrast of the darker, kind of richer tone coming in every once in a while with Yehyun's voice. I love how their voices are playing off of each other, like how they blend together and then have that separation to really like show off their own talents and also add that interest, right? We're switching up the vocals to continue to keep listener interest throughout the song. And also to like accent specific lyrics.
Desperately, there's no reason that you gotta question me. It's a fact that I want you in my life, no matter what you are and just to me. See, I
Beautiful.
don't want another, baby, there's no other. Ooh, baby, give me just one chance. Lady, I love you, and I just
Okay, no. Jiu's voice. She just got like really soft with that note. I keep kind of waiting for them to do kind of a belty, like a belting note at the end of those phrases where they kind of work up, they have these little vocal run-ups to the end of phrases, and I'm almost expecting them to belt, and then they don't. They hold back. I don't know, it adds something. There's like this anticipation to the song, the way that they're delivering the vocals. Obviously, I don't know how much of this is in the original song too, but I love that the kind of like feeling of anticipation, I feel like fits with the story of the song, right? Which is this beginning of a love story and kind of figuring out a romantic relationship. So it's this feeling of like expectation and excitement and also uncertainty, which I feel like fits with this feeling of them not belting those notes, is that there's this tentativeness to it. There's this almost vulnerability to the way that they're lightening up those points, those specific lyrics, whereas I feel like a belting strong note wouldn't fit with that vulnerability that they're trying to convey with the song.
baby, there's no other. Ooh, baby, give me just one chance. Lady, I love you, and I just wanna show you. From the way you touch me and kiss
Okay, that vocal run just went all over the place. Do it again, Jiu.
me just one chance. Lady, I love you, and I just wanna show you. From the way you touch me and kiss
Oof, that vocal run
to the
though.
sparkle in your eye. Oh, how I love you. I just wish I was without you. With my love and intuition, you never have to say goodbye.
The harmonies are so good. Like, I feel like there it really fit with showing what I was talking about, that contrast between their two tones, is that Jiu was in this really high point of higher, mostly like head voice of her just really lightening up, breathy, and then having Yuhyun in a bit of that darker range of her voice. So having those two contrasting points in the vocals like overlapping each other, just really nice.
Wish I was without you. With my love and intuition, you never have to say goodbye. Lady, I love you, and I just wanna show you. From the way you touch me and kiss me to the sparkle in your eye. Oh, how I love you. I just feel so lost without you. With my love and intuition.
That note from Yuhyun though.
아침이 오는 소리, 날 찾는 목소리, 난 그대를 사랑해.
Oh. What a sweet song. And their voices just sound incredible on it. I don't know, I feel like the control of it is what's really fascinating to me, because I feel like it's, like I was saying, it would be so easy to belt out those notes, especially since they're higher. It'd be more comfortable to like have more closure to that and more like compression with the air that you're using so that you can manage your air more. That's one thing that I don't think people think about when you contrast like breathy voice with like a belting note, is that when you're belting, there's so much compression that you are able to moderate your air a lot easier than when you have a breathy voice where you're intentionally using up more air than you normally would. So the constraint of them deciding to use the breathier voice for those higher notes that have these vocal runs and stuff, like you have to have a bunch of support to do vocal runs in general. Like you have to know what you're doing, and to do that from like a breathier light tone where you're trying to be quieter and more pulled back and reserved is a lot harder than just like belting it out. So love getting to see them showing off how they're able to have that vocal control really easily. But let's now check out the special clip, which I'm assuming will just be so adorable. I'm ready for the best of vibes. Go. I feel like I'm too excited for this. Oh, the earrings are pretty.
I love you, and I just wanna show show you. From the way you touch me and kiss me to the sparkle in your eye. Oh, how I love you. I just feel so lost without you. When my love and intuition,
I still love that note. She doesn't love.
어제는 맘이 급했어. 네가 너무 예뻐서. 너의 이름도 몰랐어. 중요하지 않아서. 느낌이 좀 이상했어. 눈이 마주칠 때.
I feel like I'm just sitting here smiling. just, just knows that I'm like a minute in and I'm just like sitting here being like, I'm so happy you're here. I do love that. I know the special clips are like a little bit more minimalistic with the like sets and performance and stuff like that, but I love how homey this feels, right? Like it feels thrown together. The chairs don't match. Their clothing is like this layered look. Just everything about it feels like a normal home life where things are just kind of mismatched and thrown together, and it's stuff that's been collected over the years. I think especially with stuff like holidays and like decorations and stuff, it's just like the stuff that you've collected throughout the years that is just like in boxes now, and you can't even like remember where some of the stuff came from, and it doesn't go together, but it doesn't matter. So I love how that's being like reflected in the way that they decide to set this up, is that it, even though I know that the special clips in general aren't super polished, it's like intentionally so in this one. Oh, I like her nails too. Sparkles. Cute.
Baby, give me just one chance. Lady, I love you, and I just wanna show you. From the way you touch me and kiss me to the sparkle in your eyes. Oh, how I love you. I just feel so lost without
I feel like I have nothing to contribute except that I just have hard eyes.
You never have to say goodbye. Yeah, got me singing that I need you desperately. There's no reason that you gotta question me. It's a fact that I want you in my life, no matter what you are, and just to me.
Ugh, I still love that little walk up that she does with that. Like it's so, just she does it so well. Anyway, I also just feel like I need to contribute something to the discussion other than me just like sitting here being like, which is how I feel at the moment, that I'm just here. Just you understand.
There's no reason that you gotta question me. It's a fact that I want you in my life, no matter what you are, and just to me. I don't want another, baby, there's no other. Ooh, baby, give me just one chance. Lady, I love you, and I just wanna show you. From the way you touch me and kiss me to the sparkle.
Why is Yuhyun so cute in this?
Oh, how I love you. I just feel so lost without you. With my love and intuition, you never have to say goodbye. Lady, I love you, and I just wanna show you. From the way you touch me and kiss me to the sparkle in your eyes. Oh, how I love you. I just feel so lost without you.
I feel like I can't look at both of them at the same time. My eyes are like. Oh, little smiles. They're so cute. I just feel so happy now, even though like, why are they so adorable? Why do they make me feel so cozy and safe and wonderful? I just feel so content now. Which I feel like is something that is just going to escalate the more I get into this group, because I can sit here and I can appreciate like their talents and their vocals and their performance and stuff, but I feel like the fact that I can like sit here and watch a video of them just sat listening to them sing, and they're just sitting there smiling, existing, and I'm just like, this is a good way to spend my time. I'm like, this is worth every second of this moment, and I think that says a lot of how far I've come, and it just makes me really want to get to Yuhyun so badly. So we'll see how much my self-control holds out before I end up recording. It'll be a while before it ends up on the channel, but definitely going to probably just like sit down and finish up the This Is stuff now, because her voice, there's something about the way that she's able to go in between these two, like all the different like tones of her voice that I just really love. But mostly we were just here for some festive vibes. I loved the jazz. I feel like I need to check out the original now, because why settle for only one version if I could have multiple? So that might be another discovery that I go on, of figuring out what the original was and who the artist is and things like that. But I hope you enjoyed watching that along with me. You can click this playlist to go and see my previous reactions, or you can subscribe so you don't miss the next time I post a Dreamcatcher reaction, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!